Well, student loan interest resumed on September 1st, and payments will resume in October. Last month, the Biden administration announced a new student loan repayment relief program, but a new survey from CNET Money found that many borrowers aren't sure if they're eligible for it. CNET senior editor Nick Wolny is here to discuss. So what is the SAVE plan in a nutshell?
The SAVE plan is the Biden administration's response to ballooning student loan debt, particularly as we're getting to the point where we're going to have to start repayments on October 1st. The biggest difference with the SAVE plan, it's a new version of the IDR plan, which is income-driven repayment. So if you apply to have your payment amount reduced, it's changing the rules on what those specifications are going to be. So for most Americans who have debt, they're going to see a lower maximum monthly payment, a lower required monthly payment. And then I think the crown jewel of this new legislation is that if you have a lot of interest, let's say you've got a lot of debt, you're making your minimum payments, you're making them on time. Previously, if the interest accrual was bigger than your payment, your loan was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, right? You have all these horror stories. Now with the SAVE plan, they're actually going to subsidize that excess interest. So if you've made your payment on time, then that extra interest that would have accrued, that's going to be waived. And so your loan will never actually get bigger. It's going to help solve one of the big systemic issues of the student loan crisis.
Rewarding good behavior, right? Like just making an effort to repay.
Well, and I think a lot of these, a lot of people will say, well, they shouldn't have taken out that much money if they didn't know that, if they didn't want to pay it back. Criticism on forgiveness. And I think what's important to remember is that people are just doing what the government is telling them to do regarding, if your income is here, then pay this much. So some of the specific things that it does, one is that it lowers that maximum payment in relation to your income. It's based on something called discretionary income, which is just your income minus essential expenses. It also raises the boundary for essential expenses. So overall, people are going to see about half as much of a maximum payment. I have a student loan. I applied for the SAVE plan. My recommended payment is about half of what it was previously. And that's true for a lot of people. But our survey found that 43% of Americans don't even know if they're eligible for that IDR plan. So we're like, chop, chop, get signed up for that plan because that's really going to help you with those payments.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a life-changing difference in terms of where you can live, et cetera. Is there a public service component of it if you go into teaching or social work or
that is already
work?
The PSLF, that's already in existence, and that will continue to be in existence. One other component of the SAVE plan that is pretty great is that if you have a balance of less than $12,000, then you are eligible for forgiveness after 10 years of on-time payments rather than 20. And that really appeals to people who maybe don't have that big of a balance, but they ended up starting school and not finishing it. So they're not really getting the income boost from having a college degree. They started, but they didn't finish. They're still burdened with this debt. If they're paying on time and they haven't seen the income gain as indicated from the IDR plan, then let's forgive that earlier so that we can free them up economically.
And so what do people need to know if they're one of the many who are confused about whether they're eligible?
You can go to studentaid.gov/save. You sign up for the program. You will submit your income information. It will be checked against some of your previous taxes to confirm that. And then from there, within a few days, even if you use a separate student loan servicer, you're going to get an update on what your payment is going to be. The government has been really good about getting people in there, getting people signed up, and getting you a quick piece of information on what your payments actually going to be. But it's important to get signed up for that since student loans start next month. The payments restart next month. 1 in 5 Americans are facing down a payment of over $500 on that. And it's been, last time we had a required student loan payment there, COVID-19 was not in the picture yet, right? So it's been quite a while since we've had payments, and so a lot of people should be aware of that as they manage their different debts going into the holidays.
All right, Nick, really important information. Thanks for breaking it down for us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. And you can find more information about CNET by going to kcalnews.com and clicking Seen on TV. Jamie.